What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wellness Week. It's Mommy Mondays. I am DJ Anthony, your DJ. No, I'm a real DJ. I'm not this is what I do for a living, full time. I am DJ Anthony. This is my co-host, Mommy Mondays. Wait, here we go. It's Stephanie. She's our resident mommy. And every Monday we do a thing called Mommy Mondays. Hey, don't forget, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification, share this episode with someone you love or you can't stand. Either way. So, Steph, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I got the scruff thing going, I'm trying to keep it cool and sexy.
Still loving that hair.
Oh, thanks, man. Okay. So, today we were just talking off camera about the topic today, 3 topics. We're probably not going to get to all 3 of them because they're pretty heavy in a good way, I guess. But number 1, can our kids become anything they want? We always tell our kids, you can be anything you want, Jane and John. You can do it. Is it true or not? 2, we as a society, are we objectifying everything in our society? So is everything just a commodity almost? And 3, in the age of subscriptions and rental services, what do we actually own nowadays? Do we actually own anything nowadays? Everything is either a rental, a lease, a subscription. I mean, what the heck do we own? I mean, so anyways, remember when we used to buy records or tape cassettes or CDs? You owned it. Now, everything is subscription. When I don't know about you, but everything is Spotify or Apple. You don't own the music anymore. And then it's a subscription. Nobody owns anything anymore. Anyways. Okay. So, Steph, you're a mom. You're an educator. I used to be a teacher for 11 years and I'm a coach and, parents and all this stuff. So this got my goose. I was saying to myself, we often tell our kids or our families or our students or whatever, hey, Jane and Johnny, you can be anything you want to be. You can do it. You can be anything you put your mind to. You can do it. And you hear that a lot, right? Our parents told us this and whatever. So I don't know. Steph, is it malarkey? Is it a lie? Is it the truth? Like, should we modify this phrase to our kids? They can be anything they want to be. What do you think about that statement, that thing that we tell our kids and has been told to us for generations? What do you think about that statement? You could be anything you want.
When you first said the question.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I would also include that to adults too. I mean, it doesn't end when you're 18. I mean, you hear that too with adults. So if you put your mind to it, you can do it. Okay. So particularly kids, what do you think when we tell a 10-year-old that?
Yeah. When you first mentioned the question, my reaction was, of course. And then I went, no. So it was both. It was, a gut reaction to say yes. And then I was like, but that's not really true. I think there are some cases, but there's far and few between where that is true, right? You can be anything you want. So you hear about like the cases where, you have somebody who has risen out of poverty and has become a great sports figure or a great celebrity or, something like that. But it doesn't happen all the time. I think that a lot of the times what kids are able to become are limited by their experiences and the things that happen around them. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So yeah, I'm
still thinking about it.
That's why I have you on. This is the highest rated show on all of my my network. Okay, so I kind of concur with you. I think it all depends context. I mean, yeah. I mean, if God forbid somebody has no legs, okay, a child is born with massive deformation and it happens. They have no legs, they can't see, they have one arm. That person's probably never going to make the NBA, and it'd be unfair and mean to tell that child, you can be in the NBA if you want to. Like, kids aren't dumb, now that's an extreme case, but that does happen. So let me preface, like, granted, everyone has their faculties about them. You're normal, quote unquote, healthy. I think within context, a young person could increase their odds exponentially to make it to the WNBA or NBA. So my thing to young people or kids is not so much can you do something, it's how much are you willing to sacrifice to get it, whatever it is. So within obviously the law. So when kids say, oh, I want to be in the WNBA or the NBA, or I want to be an astronaut, my thing to them, granted, again, you have all your faculties about you and you're healthy, I would say, well, how much are you willing to give up? Are you willing? This is what I tell kids, are you willing to give up hanging out with your friends? Are you willing to give up all the video games? Are you willing to give up birthdays? Are you willing to give up weekends? Are you willing to practice 5 hours a day and on the weekends, 10 hours a day for 10 years? That's no vacations, no hanging out, no free time, no, oh, yeah. Okay, well, then get to it. Let's see, and they quickly realize, I really don't want it as bad as I thought, whatever that may be, again. And it's all relative, because I was thinking about and I think we all have, you, me, everyone has experiences where they have made sacrifices and they have accomplished it, whatever it is. And we throw around professional athletes and stuff like that, but it's relative. Again, for me, real quick, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to get a college degree. Now that might seem like everybody's got that. What kind of accomplishment is that? It's all relative to the person. For me, Absolutely. That was my NBA. That was my NFL, because I am not, and I was not, the smartest kid in my class ever in any level. And I had a lot of disadvantages my way. And I'm not saying, oh, poor me. I'm just saying the facts. I went to college on my own dime. And again, I'm not saying, look at me, I'm great. I'm just the truth here to give people an understanding of what sacrifices mean for whoever it is. It doesn't have to be schooling or money. It could be, I want to be a mom, or I want to be a dad, or I want to become whatever, I want to be an accountant, or I want to be an astronaut, whatever it is. And we all have successes that we had to make sacrifices for. And we all have had things that we thought we wanted to do, but then we're like, well, that's a lot. I'm not willing to put up that type of, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong. It's to each his own. But my point is, when I tell young people, it's like, look, I wanted to go to college. I had no help from my parents, and not that my parents are bad. No money from my mom and dad. No money from the government. No loans. Nobody. I didn't borrow money. I paid literally cash as I went. I was the stupidest kid in the class. It took me 10 years to get a 4-year degree. Okay, and I had to sacrifice a lot. I had to start a business to put myself through college, cash, and because I wasn't the smartest kid, I had to go start at junior college, all prerequisites. That when I found out, I was like, what? I have to take high school math again? It was insurmountable in my mind. I was like, I'm never going to get a degree. So my mind, though, was I'm willing to sacrifice everything. Meaning, I said to myself, I'm going to get this college degree when I'm in my 50s. I thought when I was 18, I said, okay, I'll probably be in my 50s when I get the degree, because I also didn't have a lot of money. I had to spend my own money. So sometimes I would take one class a semester. You went to college, you know how long it would take. I mean, my point is, I would study while I was DJing in the DJ booth. I would have my books open in between songs. I would memorize stuff for my history, my chemistry, whatever. I would go to sleep with a recorder on of me reading back my notes. So I would fall asleep to that. I would not go out on Saturday, not go out on Sunday, not go out on, I would DJ, work, come home. My mother, to the point, was like, Anthony, please go out. I'll give you money. You need to get out. I'm like, no. I was hell-bent possessed. Nothing was going to stop me. I was willing to give it up all. No hanging out, no friends, no television, no whatever it took. I was possessed. I got my degree. Boom, done. Made it all the way to graduate school. I'm just saying that when people say they can be anything, my question is how much you want to sacrifice. And I haven't always made those sacrifices in my life for things, but for that I did. And I always tell the story about these two people that I know that wanted to become doctors. The guy and a girl. So the guy goes, this is years and years back, and he goes, I'm going to go to medical school. I want to be a doctor. Well, that's cool. And he tells me, I applied to 4 or 5 schools. I see him about a year or two later. I'm like, hey, what happened? How's medical school? He's like, I didn't get in. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I applied to 4 or 5 schools in the New York City area. I didn't get in. I was like, okay, and he's like, but I tried. And, in his mind, he thinks he tried. And God bless. You think you tried, you tried. The woman who wanted to go to medical school, same thing, good student, just like him, whatever. she wanted to go to medical school. So she applied to 4 or 5 schools, 6 or 7 schools, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 schools. But she expanded her search not only to the New York City area, but to America. Still didn't get in. She expands it to the globe, gets into a medical school overseas across the globe, okay, leaves everything she knows, gets this damn degree, her medical degree, comes back to America, has to go through all these prerequisites to get recertified in America. Now that's somebody who wants to be a doctor. You know what I mean? Like, there's levels in life, you know, and not, it is what it is, you know. So when people say, I want to do this, I want to do that, well, how much are you willing to sacrifice to become whatever, an accountant, whatever, whatever it is, a teacher, a lawyer, you know. So this woman was so inspirational because she was not going to be denied. It was right. Going to happen. She did it. She went overseas to a place where she's not from, and then she had to do double work, come back to America, get recertified, because America, you know, we don't accept people's medical degrees from overseas. You have to kind of get whatever, go through the hoops. She does that, you know. So the guy says he tried. He did 4 or 5 schools only in the New York City area. The woman said she tried the whole globe, and it took her probably double the amount of time. My point is, she's willing to do that. She became that. And even myself, it takes me 3 hours to comprehend something that other people can take an hour to comprehend. But do it. So when kids say, I want to do this, do that, my thing is, you can do it. How much are you willing to sacrifice for it? You know, people want to find love. I want to be married. Okay. What are you doing about it? I want on an app. Okay. Well, it doesn't sound to me like you're too serious about finding a partner, but okay. You know, how much are you willing to, I don't know, sign up, have someone match you up, you know, join not 1 site, but 10 sites, you know, get your, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that, you know, or people who say, I have no friends. Well, how much are you putting out there? Like, how much do you want to have a friend? You know, like, how much are you willing to give of yourself, your time, your efforts to be that friend? You know, everybody wants things, but how much are you willing to sacrifice? My old football coach says, you know, everybody wants to get to heaven, but nobody wants to die. So anyways.
It's a good saying.
Yeah. So, but, you know, not to go on and on, but that's, yeah. So I think kids can become anything they want. Adults can do anything they want, again, within reason, right? Like, yeah, obviously, if you're 2 feet tall, you're not going to be in the NBA ever. 0, you know, but how much are we willing to sacrifice to do it, you know, to get it? And anyways, so that's my rant on that stuff. What do you think?
You know, I took it from like a different perspective. Initially, you know, I was thinking about where kids are from, you know. So I'm like, a kid who lives in the city and maybe has never been swimming, you know, says, I want to be a marine biologist. I love the ocean, and I think that's what I want to do, but doesn't even know how to swim. You know, how realistic is that opportunity for that situation?
Oh, right. They live in the middle of Kansas. There's no water anywhere. But
right. Or the middle of Kansas, or you live in a very rural area and you say, you know, I want to become a great architect, but you haven't been exposed to great architecture, or, you know, things like that. And I think, you know, when we talk to kids and we say you can be anything you want, in my heart of hearts, I do believe that possibilities are endless, right? Because you have to believe that to a certain extent. There are possibilities, and they are endless. But I think sometimes they are limited by what we have around us.
Yeah.
And what we're exposed to.
Listen, I agree with you. Go ahead.
You know what I mean? Like, so for somebody who's never been swimming, never been in the water, you know, is that type of job really something that they're going to excel at? You have a lot of obstacles to overcome to be able to do that. It's not impossible, but compared to somebody who lives on the coast.
Of course. And then if you have, right.
Yeah. So I was thinking more along, you know, that kind of reasoning.
Right. And you're right. I mean, there are people who would say, and well, Stephanie, no, you know, if you want it, you can do it. And again, to your point, Steph, yeah, there's context matters, right? I mean, if you're growing up, again, you know, in the slums of Calcutta, India, the odds of every single kid that wants to be a billionaire is going to be a billionaire. No, let's be honest. You know, like it's not the case, you know, and But there are people who do rise up above that and do become whatever, they leave the Calcutta, India, and they become successful in their own rights, or maybe they are the billionaire. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're, but that's the other thing. It's another kind of a side story, but what is success? What is anything you want? But to your point, if there's 20 kids in Calcutta that are like, I want to be in the NBA, let's be honest. Not all 20 are going to be in the NBA. Let's stop this, and
right.
it's disingenuous and it's lying to kids to do that. I think the right way to maybe say it to kids is not, you can be anything you want. It's maybe you can increase the odds of possibly being anything you want.
I mean, when you say it like that, it does seem more realistic.
Yeah, because go ahead. Oh no, am I gonna get? Last time the audio got cut. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I lost volume.
Again, can you hear me? Steph,
I can't even hear you.
Log off. Log off.
Okay.
Log off. I'll keep on talking because that's what I do. Bye, Steph. I'm kicking you off. All right. Steph is gone. Steph is gone. There you go. So it's just me and you now. Hey, what's up? So I lost my co-host. So yeah, I mean, look, like I was saying, it's oh, here she is again. Let's see. Let's get her back on. Add her to the stream. What's up, Steph? You're back.
Sorry.
Now you got to silence your phone. Come on, you're the hottest show on the whole network over here.
But, I do. I silence it every time, but anytime a phone call comes in, it cuts off. And no, it's definitely not that. It just seems to be a popular time for people to call.
Hey, it's okay. So yeah. I mean, so back to right. Anybody, look, look, not yeah. I mean, let's be realistic. Not anybody can be anything. It all depends on context, exposure to experiences in life. Right. If your mommy and daddy have the means. But again, though, you do hear stories of people coming up out of the extreme situations, no doubt. And that's why I was saying, like, success is relative. I would say even for you have your stories of how you rose above it all for your particular life and your particular successes, and me too. So, it doesn't have to be, I didn't become an astronaut, I'm a loser. I didn't become a doctor, I'm a loser. No, our successes are our successes, and our trials and tribulations are ours, and we all have our own successes. So to say, you didn't become a billionaire, loser, like that's just childish too, so I think in our own way, in our own context, we can raise the odds of becoming a lot of what we would like, but again, if you're 2 feet tall, you're not making it into the NBA or WNBA. It's not happening. Like, I think that would be more honest, and kids would appreciate that, or, hey, how about you can work in the NBA or work in the WNBA, maybe as a trainer or, as a coach or as a, in marketing. So your NBA dreams can come true, but maybe not on the court. I think that is more realistic to somebody who's 2 feet tall, versus blowing smoke. Like, yeah, you could go out in there on the court and do.
And probably even, more realistic to somebody who's 6'7" too, because there's a lot of those guys, but only a handful of them make it to the NBA also.
Well, to somebody who's 6'7", high schooler, healthy, and has some relative skills, again, they're healthy, they can bounce a ball. I would say, though, my advice to that boy or girl would be, how much are you willing to sacrifice? So, or if you're willing to forego vacations and birthdays and the money you have for a big party, we're going to put that to extra coaching. You want to hang out with your friends this weekend, can't do it this weekend or next weekend or not. You got practice. Sorry, that happened. I think that 6'7" high schooler, I would say to them, you're going to increase your odds. You're going to have a very good chance at the NBA, but it's not guaranteed. That's what I would tell that person. Not if you work hard, you can do it. That's not right. I would say you can increase the odds of getting
Absolutely. I mean, when my daughter was small, she wanted to be a chef in the worst way. And so I said to her, that's great. Did you know that chefs work on like almost every major holiday? They work Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, like all these things. And she was like, I don't want to be a chef anymore.
Right. By the way, right. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But
No, she knew that was a hard limit for her.
Right. And I wouldn't even, yeah. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. Saying, you know what, I wanted to go into the NBA, but not that bad. Or I wanted to be a chef, but not that bad. Or I wanted to be a parent, but I don't want to go through those lengths to maybe get in vitro or medicines or that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that to say, you know what, I'm going to pick my battle, so to speak. I'm going to pick the things that I do want to make sacrifices for and how much sacrifice I want to make. There has to be a line in the sand for everything. So I think that's all I'm trying to say is when we say to kids, you can be anything you want. I mean, like, temper that, I just, because we also don't want to set our kids up for disappointment and failure if they don't get it, whatever it is, oh my God, I didn't become that, engineer. I didn't become the electrical engineer. Oh, shucks. Again, I just would say it's about increasing those odds.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just like, I think that when we go to college, right? Like when you apply for colleges, or even when you apply for high school, sometimes when you want to go private, they always say, like a guidance counselor always tell you, apply to that dream school, but also apply to that school that's kind of like your safety net,
right?
And then things in between. So, I think a healthy thing to say to kids is, go for that goal, go for that dream that you have, but also have a backup plan.
Right. Yeah. And see it in a broader sense. Like I said, maybe you won't play in the NBA, but maybe you can work in the NBA. A friend of mine, he has his own rock band, and he's like, I never really made it. I go, no, stop. I go, you did make it. You made it. You're playing. You're in front of crowds. Okay, you're not at Madison Square Garden. Doesn't mean you didn't make it. Who's the arbiter of who makes it and who doesn't? You are. I am. So I said to him, I said, you made it. You're living your dream.
Yeah.
Like, what's making it? You determine what's making it. Now, if you think you're a loser because you're not playing in front of Madison Square Garden, well, then you're a loser according to you. But in my mind, I said, you're not a loser. You're a winner. You're doing what you want to do,
right.
And you're doing it part-time, but you're doing it. You're doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
I run triathlons and I never place. I'm always the last person, but I'm doing them. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm never going to win a medal, and that's fine. Like, my goal is I just want to be in it. That's it. So I'm happy. I won. That's it. Who's to tell me I didn't or do? It's so success is relative, and making it. That's another, like I said, another kind of show. But back to you tell our kids, or we tell ourselves, we can do anything we want. Again, I would say broaden the umbrella and set context and kids are not dumb. Don't blow smoke. But so anyways, okay. Anything else you want to add? Because we can squeeze another one in here, another little something here.
No, I agree. Bring on the next one.
So the other one I wanted to touch on was that you and I, it was I guess I'm going to jump one here. So in the age of subscription services and rental services, what do we actually really own? I think we talked off camera about this. It's like, or maybe I just said it before. It's like, everything is rented or music, cars, everything's a lease. Nobody actually owns the car. A lease is a fancy word for rental. Music, we don't buy records anymore. We don't buy tapes. We don't buy CDs. We don't even buy the music digitally anymore. Subscription, Spotify, Deezer, Pandora, a lot of clothing too can be rented, so I'm like, what the hell do we own anymore? Like, so, I mean, do you have any subscription services or anything in your world?
You know what? Not really.
So how do you listen to music?
So I know it's so old school. I listened pretty much. I mean, we listen to, believe it or not, we still buy CDs here all the time.
Wait, where would you even buy a CD?
All the time. A lot of times we order them online.
For 1 penny, are you still in that? What is that? Columbia Music, right?
My husband and my daughter, they're total groupies.
Right.
Totally, they're fans of everything, right, especially music related. So a lot of times they will buy the CDs And then if they go to the concert, they'll bring the CD to the concert, and they'll try to meet the band afterwards, and they'll have that stuff signed. So yeah, we still buy a lot of CDs.
Okay.
We listen to we listen to music on, our iPods. We bought the songs, so we own the songs on the iPod. It's on shuffle. I listen to, whatever's on Amazon on the station that I get on my Alexa.
Well, that's subscription. So.
No, I don't pay for the subscription. I just use the free one that comes on.
Hold on. Are you a member of Prime?
Yes, I am.
And then that's where you're getting the music from. That's because I have the same thing. So you are paying a subscription for that. So that is part of Prime. So you pay for Prime. Now, if you weren't paying for Prime, I'm like, how would you pull that off? But which is no big deal. So technically, well, you are. You have a subscription service to music. Because
I don't have Netflix. I don't have.
I understand. Neither do I. Either. Right. But yeah, it's funny. And your generation, my generation, is probably the last generation. Things that are going to be owned physically. I mean, your daughter, the kids. Are you kidding me? Like, by the time she's, in her 20s, I mean, yeah. I was talking to you before about the cars now. Like,
the
heated steering wheels, the heated seats. Those are subscriptions now coming up. So in the future, you'll buy the car. It'll have the capability to do that. But you got to pay a monthly fee to have your seat heated in your automobile. That's a subscription service. It's insane, So I think more and more is becoming less and less owned. If you even think about this too, like you own a house, you don't own the house because number one, you have a mortgage, usually 99.9%.
Yeah, that's correct most of the time.
Right. So mortgage. Well, then who owns it? The bank owns your house. You're just renting it until you pay it off. But wait, even if you're a bazillionaire and you buy the house in cash, guess what? You got to pay land tax. So, and if you don't pay your land tax, you don't pay your property tax, the government takes your house away. So you don't even own your house, even when you're a billionaire. Because if you don't pay your land tax, it goes into foreclosure. They take take your house away. So
and we've seen that happen a lot.
Right. So you might not have a mortgage, but if you don't pay the taxes, so it doesn't matter. Even a billionaire doesn't own their house because you got to pay taxes. You never own it outright. Unlike maybe, you buy a stapler. I bought it. That's it. I don't have to pay. I pay taxes once on it. I'm not paying reoccurring taxes every quarter.
Right.
I'm not, renting it. So there's few things in life that we really, really own. When you see most people lease a car, that's a rental because at the end of the lease, you have nothing. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying,
it is what it is.
Right. I didn't know this, but my cable, Verizon, or anybody, like, you don't own the box.
Don't you where I eat.
Right. Right. We don't own the router. You don't own the cable box. You don't own the remote. That's all rented. So it's like you leased, so it's like, damn, so it's increasingly more and more becoming like that in our country where everything's a subscription, wink, wink, where you're just renting, so it's interesting. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just, it's interesting. I rent. I have subscription music, unlike you. Right. But part of it's because I DJ.
Yeah.
But when I first heard about that, I thought it was so bizarre. I was like, what? Why would I don't trust that. Like, why would I subscribe to music? But now I see it. You could download it, but I think it's a genius move. I mean, I have access to trillions of songs, literally whatever, billions of songs, and I don't have to store anything. It's just, and if I do.
And that's the beauty of it, right? Is that you cut down on so much storage space.
Physical, yeah.
Yeah, by being able to do these, stream services. That's right. That's the beauty of it.
Movies, right? Yeah, Netflix.
Access. Yeah, it is brilliant.
Yeah, so it's just interesting. I think, I guess not to really extrapolate on this and go deep into this, but I guess everything in life is a subscription service, a rental, because life is not permanent. It's temporary, right? So we're all on loan. We're all renting. Really, when you think about it, nothing is forever. So it's all, and it's kind of sad in a way, but it's kind of beautiful in a way too. Enjoy what we have because it's all temporary. So you enjoy that moment even more, I guess. You enjoy it, whatever it is, because it's all fleeting. But yeah, we're kind of getting more and more to that as a society where I'm trying to think what else is a subscription or rented. I mean, you have food services now. They have which is a glorified TV dinners. I think it's
like HelloFresh, things like that.
No, this one's even more slick. You buy the oven. Is a specialty oven. It looks like a microwave, but it's not. You buy the specialty oven. And then it's not kind of like Keurig, the coffee, but you buy the specialty oven, and then every month it's a subscription. They send you these food packets that are pre-prepared. You put it in the oven, it warms it up, and then you have a meal, essentially TV dinner. But I was like, damn, man, everything is subscription, man. Even the food is, and it looks good. The food looks good, but it's just like, what? And yeah, HelloFresh is another subscription service. Yeah, that's a little bit different. You have to put it in your own oven. This thing is you buy their oven, the little tabletop oven, and then it's a variation of the thing. But, and again, not saying it's good or bad. It's just interesting how, that's where the money is, They have a new service. Yeah, actually, a lot of the car companies, especially the high-end ones like Porsche and Audi, they're doing a subscription service too now, where it's not a lease, but you pay a couple $1,000 a month, and you can drive whatever Porsche you want whenever you want. And there's no mileage restrictions. Leases have mileage restrictions. This doesn't. So it's a subscription plan. You can start it and stop it whenever you want. You can drive whatever Porsche you want whenever you want for as long as you want, as long as you're paying that monthly subscription. And I'm like, that's not a bad idea, actually, because who has, $130,000 to pluck down on a Porsche, and who wants to be locked into 4 years of owning just one car when I can drive all the cars whenever I want, and I can stop it. And I don't have to, it's not like a lease where you're locked in for 5 years or 4 years or 3 years. I can just subscribe for March and April and be done with it. And, so I was like, that's pretty smart, So, but again, everything is,
when I used to work for Verizon also.
Oh, okay.
And when I first started, I think it was still Bell Atlantic. And I remember back then, just looking at my mom's phone bill, the subscription services actually started way back then, because if you remember, we never owned those phones. We always paid a monthly rental fee.
Oh, for the hardwire phone on the wall.
For the hardwire phones.
Yeah.
So I was in my 30s. And my mother and my grandfather were still renting their hardwire phones. By the time I realized that, they spent thousands of dollars on those phones. And you still had to have them, taken off the wall and returned before they would stop the payment.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, that started a long time ago, but it didn't catch on until I think things started to go wireless.
Right. Yeah. Even cell phones, right? How many people really, I guess increasingly more and more now, it's, you don't buy the phone. It's on your credit card. You pay a monthly fee. And then, of course, you have the extended care program on the phone. So it's like, damn it, you never own this damn phone. There's always some thing.
That's right. And by the time you pay it off,
to keep this crap going.
Yeah. And by the time you pay it off, you move on to the next phone, and then you do another monthly fee.
Right. It's, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just, it's very few things are owned, but yeah, it is what it is. So, I guess that's the future of, whatever. So yeah, we didn't get a chance to get to the other topic, which I leapfrogged over it. It was the second one, but, that was, whatchamacallit, do we as a society objectify everything? Meaning everything is a commodity. We don't see the value in whatever it is, but we'll have to talk about that in another show, because I know it's
heavy topic.
Heavy topic. Well, it's a weird thing. It kind of ties into not owning anything, in a way. But so that's that, folks. That concludes our service. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. If you grew up Catholic like I did, you couldn't wait to hear those lines from the priest. It's like, yo, we're done. Church service is over. Padre Santo. So I was like, okay, man. But yeah. So good to see you, Steph, again.
Good to see you.
Thank you. And don't forget, everyone, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification. Tell your mom, your friend, your brother. This is the hottest show on the whole YouTube thingy. Wellness Week, all that jazz. We got great shows coming up. Yeah, that's it. So, Steph, thank you again, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Everybody, we're signing off before Steph gets another important phone call.
Sorry.
Who's calling you? Okay. It's probably the hubby downstairs. Hey, can you bring me up? No, I can't. All right.
That's exactly where he is.
I'm busy being popular. Damn it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.